Manaole Madness.
All right.
We're
Back in
done with
action.
our shopping.
I'm gonna start this with the ginger first.
Oh yeah. How about you started with the wasabi?
Nope. I'm gonna be able to breathe now.
So we're
It'll clear all my
done.
sinuses.
Yeah, I will. We're done with our shopping, guys. You know what? Shopping stresses me out
Why?
because
Hmm.
I guess like you have your issues when you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have my issues while we're shopping. Are you in the picture good? Can you see? Because I said it, but yeah, okay.
Half my body is
So
cut out.
shopping, huh?
Half my body is cut out of the picture. That's okay. I'll be happy. No, I'm just kidding.
Bruh. See what I mean? But like how you are on the road, I am in the shopping area because people just like, you know. I'm sorry, lunch.
We got what do they call this? Dragon sushi
Yeah, something like
from
that.
Sam's Club.
This is how we eat on the go.
On the go.
Because we don't have time to stop most of the time. But yeah, like when you're in the bathroom, people would stop right in front of me
Right.
just to talk to each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, this thing all
It's
stuck together.
packed. I'm gonna get it. It's packed, right? As it is. So there's no room. There's like room for people to flow one way and people to flow the opposite way. There's no room really to even go in between.
Mm-hmm.
So when you walk in and you see that, you would think common sense is don't stop right there. If you're gonna talk story, pull into an aisle, move on the side,
yeah.
right? But they
Courtesy.
don't. Yeah, they don't. So they kept doing that. And when there was room for me to go in the middle, people would be like, oh, psych, oh, psych. And I'm just like, bruh.
Make up your mind.
Yeah. And I just don't like, I'm like, don't touch me. Like, I gotta stay in my bubble when I go shopping because,
Wanna get wrapped with bubble wrap
no.
when you go shopping? Huh?
No, because then
Why?
I'm claustrophobic, so that makes me feel claustrophobic. I just need like personal space, and
Right.
people are like all up on me, and I just feel like, can you just like go away? So I'm
Move
not
her.
I'm not a shopper like that. I mean, I'm not a shopping that kind of girl either. But
Same food you for
bro,
Huh?
I got the front
Yeah.
side.
There you go.
Bruh.
I thought you would go there.
I was distracted with the sushi.
Sushi is one of the greatest inventions in the world. Okay, come on.
So
What are we talking about?
yeah, it was crazy. Crazy shopping, crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else is crazy?
What?
You.
Wait. I gotta congratulate us.
Huh? What?
I have a congratulations.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What is it?
We making advancements towards being more bougie.
What?
Yeah. Because we figured out how to use the Sam's Club
Yeah.
that we don't have to go through the cash register now. We can scan and go.
Scan and go.
We finally evolved to the scan and go.
It was weird walking past the registers.
Yeah.
I felt like I
We're
was
kind of like
stealing.
guilty, yeah. You know,
But that was pretty interesting.
we did it.
Mhm.
You know, we figured it out and we did it.
And it's supposed to remember your card now, so
Right.
we just gotta go in
And they're
there.
gonna ask you, you wanna reorder stuff that you ordered before.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. What happens if they don't have it? You know how we always go and we buy the same thing all the time, and then one day when we really want it, they don't have it?
Yeah.
See? So the stores are crazy too. But I really do have a crazy story about you. I mean,
Oh, Oh, me?
A lot of things that you do
Oh, I'm not crazy.
are crazy.
Okay,
What?
is this? What's the crazy story about me?
When you
Let's go.
first took the item,
The reclaim. I never taken. I reclaimed the land.
you reclaimed it, yeah.
You know that when I first did it, they said, "Oh, we cannot talk because you're occupying the land." I said, "I'm not occupying nothing. Occupation is like America came here and just occupied our country, just took it from us. That's not even theirs.
Yeah.
This land is ours, and I just reclaim it." Okay.
That's true.
Go
But
ahead.
it was okay, so
Yeah.
I need like
What did you feel about the moment you realized I was committed to reclaiming the land, actually getting there and doing it?
so that was the first so we talked about or you talked about it, right? Oh, there's this much land and this one. Okay, this is not slated. So I think you were like more talking to yourself out loud.
Right.
And I heard you, and I try to listen to that when you do that because I'll try to get ahead of you so that I know what you're prepping for, right? So I can pre-prep
Right.
and make things easier for you.
Right.
So I kind of heard it, but I didn't understand because you were
I
talking
really appreciate that about you.
legal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand the legal talk that you were doing.
Right.
So then you wanted to make a banner, right? You said we got to go to the copy place and make a banner.
I hear a copy.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, what are we making a banner for? And it was, at that time, the vibe was more like, just roll with me. Because
Right.
I think you had everything in your head that it was like a plan. You didn't have time to like
Yes.
explain it to me or go sideways. So,
And here's the other part. I'm used to doing shit on my own,
yeah.
so I don't implicate other people and get them involved.
And sometimes I
Yeah.
think you forget
You know.
that you actually have a partner.
I know, but I never like you. In case anything went sideways, if you don't know the plan, you cannot tell them,
Right.
right?
Uh,
If you don't know what the hell's going on, the only thing you can say is I don't even know. Right?
well, I don't ever think like
I
that.
wanted you to not know the totality, and plus it's my paranoia. The minute get word out, what they gonna do? Oh, when people gonna try, like guys
Other people.
bugging you, you don't know the cops listening on the phone,
Other
whatever.
people, yeah. I was gonna say I don't ever think like that you can't tell me stuff because I'm not a rat, right? So I don't have that mentality,
Yeah.
but I get it. You know, you're not used to that. But
So
so
what happened?
so then we went to
What were you thinking? What was the thought that came into your mind when you realized we went up in there?
I thought you were crazy. I did. I mean, you've done a lot of crazy things in your life. You know, all the stories you told me. But I thought you were kind of crazy because we made the banner. And I was kind of confused as to what, and you said, I'm going to put them right up on the gate. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, what does that do, right? So then you had the news come out. And then when you called the guy from the news, I was like, okay, you really are crazy. Because I was like, not only are you going to do this, and my fear was you were going to get taken back to prison.
Right.
And I'm thinking, we just went through this whole thing. It was very stressful for me. I realized it was stressful for you being in prison, but it was really stressful for me because I didn't know if they're going to take you back, you know, to somewhere else and what, and I didn't know how it was going to get to you, right?
Right.
So I was thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. I'm going to have to, you know, deal with that. So when you brought the news, I was scared, and I was like, oh my gosh,
There
you're
you go.
really crazy.
It's right there, out for everybody to see.
And so,
I never hide nothing.
yeah,
I never hide nothing.
and that's typically you.
Yep.
You don't. So the news came, and we had a couple aunties come, and you know, when I was recording
Kupuna
it,
Council. You know who in back my play? Kupuna Council in back my play.
yeah,
That's who in back my play. And as long as the Kupuna was back in my play, I knew I could do whatever I wanted to.
yeah.
43 little bit.
So
Hey, water.
I don't have water. So then that day, when that happened, it wasn't really, to me, then it switched. My mindset switched to, wow, this is a beautiful moment. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were still crazy. Because when we first saw the land, you couldn't even get to the gate, from the road to the gate, because
Right.
it was
All
tires and rubbish and,
bushes.
you know, yeah, and the bushes were like probably 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
And so- I'm 5 feet, but it did come up like to my chest.
It's
about.
like he's
Yeah.
bouncing up and down.
Yeah, so just to put the banner up was a
Right.
challenge, right?
Yeah, it was.
And then when you go past the gate and you look, it's all it was bushes. And
Yeah.
I thought, what are you gonna do with that? You know, because we didn't have money. We didn't have money for, you know, extra money.
We didn't
for
even have weed
equipment.
whackers at the time.
We didn't have anything, and we didn't even have the money to buy weed whackers, right? So I thought, what? I mean, how? I just couldn't fathom anything.
Mhm.
And then, luckily, our friends came and said, "Oh, you need us to clear out a path," you know. And so I
Yeah.
thought, okay, a path would be great.
Brother James, we're gonna clear out the path to the gate.
Oh yeah, first was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least we could see the gate.
Right.
But then I still thought, okay, this is crazy because once we open the gate, then what? You know, we're gonna be in the bush. And then when our other friends came and said, "Oh, we'll bring our machines and we'll clear out a path for you."
But they came all the way from Wailua.
Yeah.
Early
Then
in the
they
morning.
cleared out the road going up, the path going up, and
Our
and a
first-
section where
We call it our first base camp.
yeah. So then at that point, I thought, okay, the department could still kick you off, but I had faith in your legal skills. And I knew that, you know, if you had thought that much into it,
Right.
you had to have had a plan. So I continued to roll with you, right? Then once we had that little base camp, I thought, okay, well, worst come to worst, we could just pitch a tent, you
Right.
know, and go home at night, but pitch a tent in the daytime if we had to rest or whatever.
Right.
And we could work by hand slowly on what you wanted to do. And I still didn't know what you wanted to do. I didn't have, like, you didn't share, like, the whole big picture with me, you know, and
Right.
stuff. You just, like, this is our base camp, you know, this is where we're going to start. And I looked around and I
Right, the
thought,
start.
right,
We need a comfortable place to start
Right.
from before you start, you know, walking out into
right.
the bushes.
But
And it's all forest.
when you
It's
when
all
you said
forest.
this is our start, I looked around
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't even know where to start from here. I don't even know where to end. Like, so all I knew was, okay, there's weeds right here. Let's start by pulling weeds.
Right.
And slowly I could see, like, hey, we could put, you know, flowers along that side, right?
Right.
Okay, like plants. And there was, when we got in there, we found all that aloe.
Yeah.
So then I
Yep.
started, like, it was weird, you know. At one point it shifted from you're crazy
Yeah.
and I was scared to one point it shifted that all of a sudden I started feeling the land,
Yeah.
you know. And
Because it was your
talking to me.
voice in the beginning that said, oh, we can work with what the land is giving us.
Yeah.
And it's flowing. It has a
Yeah.
flow, right? To it.
And I started to see that.
the
and-
different levels.
yeah,
flows.
like you had
Like-
ideas at first. I want to do this here. I want to do. I want to break this down here. And I was
Right.
like, in my heart, I was like, no,
the land is calling
don't
you.
break that down. Yeah, like that's a natural thing. Like work around it, work with it. And then once I hit that point, I think, then I just,
Hanapa!
I think in my mind, I was no longer thinking of what might happen or whatever, how we're gonna do this. I just thought, I'm gonna feel the land, and whatever the land tells me to do, I'm gonna do, right? So
Right.
then it was no longer me thinking about how we're gonna do this or whatever. And then the only thing I was kind of stressed about is like, we still have to make money to pay bills, right?
Right.
So we can't spend the whole day, every day on the land, even though I know that's what you want to do.
Right.
but we still had to work and do our food service.
Mhm.
And so I thought, okay, how are we gonna balance this? Because that's gonna be exhausting. And we
Right.
were
Yeah.
exhausted. And
We'll
at
go
one
sell
point,
food, then we'll come on the island.
yeah, and at one point we were going to the Aina first to water the plants,
Mhm.
then go sell food, and then come back to
Right.
water the plants in the evening, go home and prep for the next day. And we were getting like, I think, 3 hours of sleep every day. It was crazy ridiculous.
Mhm.
But then I started, seeing things, and then we got slowly, when we started making a little money, we bought a tool here, a
Right.
tool there,
Right.
eventually working our way up to weed whackers.
Mhm.
And then that kind of like opened up another
At one
thing.
point, we had like about $3,000 worth of tools.
Yeah, and we worked hard for that.
And we
We
had a
worked
generator.
every day. We had a generator.
220i
It was
generator.
like your friend brought the collapsible container.
Yeah, that was
So-
a benefit
Yeah.
to us. We had now had on
Yeah.
solid shelter if we needed it.
And then we had a tent, like one of those white tents. So we put that up. And
Yeah.
then we had chairs and a table. So
We
at
had
least we had a
the
place.
13 by 13 too behind
Yeah.
that.
So at least we had a place to like
Chill
sit
out.
in the shade
Yeah.
and bring lunch and have lunch there and stuff. So that was good.
And keep looking over and say, ooh, remember it was the second, the bottom, the base?
Yeah.
Man, that thing was all bushes and trees and all
And
that.
barbed wire.
Yeah, we tried walking down there and all
Yeah.
kinds of fucking mattresses.
So what
and
did we
box
say?
springs.
One day, we said one day
Yeah,
we'll go and we'll be able to clear that out.
right.
And today, it's all cleared
All
out.
cleared up. But it started with us making a trail
Yeah.
from the top
Yeah.
down. I was weed whacking.
I remember
Weed
we
whacking,
walked
yeah.
first, and
Yeah.
everywhere I walked, I would put my foot down like this on both sides
Yeah.
with my boots.
to make a flat path.
And then, we got knocked down for a bit because after we worked that hard to build up our tool supply, where
Yeah.
we could go every day and do work on the Aina without worrying like we had the tool for this and the tool for that.
Right.
We came one day and we got to the gate, and one of our carts, we had two carts too. We
Yeah.
got one, and then he
The
wanted
gorilla
a
one,
bigger one
Yeah.
because he said,
Yeah,
I'm a
it's dump
big
cart
boy.
kind, yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
I need a big boy cart. So we worked up money to get that. So one of
Yeah.
the carts was on the inside of the gate, but right there at the gate. And I went, what the heck is that doing there? I said, that's
Yep.
one of our carts.
Yep.
So when we went in, the whole place was ransacked.
Yep.
All the tools were stolen. The generators, the solar lights, the lamps we had,
Yep.
even his grill.
Yeah.
This is a big ass grill.
Yep.
So all of that was stolen. And not only did they steal it, but they literally ransacked it. Like they knocked over the drawers we had, they
Emptied it all
knocked
out
it,
of
yeah,
the
and they
room.
broke it. Like I guess they were just going through it and stepping on everything and all that. And I thought, what the heck, right? So
Yep. That
we
hurt.
were
you know.
like, yeah, we were.
So I
really
gotta tell you, for
salty.
me, when I was growing up and I was doing my criminal activity, I never gave a second thought about what anybody felt about me stealing their shit. But that incident, that was the first time in my life that I realized what people really felt when they came back to their spot and they saw shit was missing, whether I was burglarizing the house
Felt violated.
or burglarizing the car. You know what I mean? I can see, wow, what that felt like. Because I felt
Yeah.
that sting, and I was mad, and I was like, bruh, come do this when I'm here. You know what I mean? I dare you to come here, to come do that while I'm here. I was so mad, but then I had to get over myself and realize I gotta chuck that one up on the block 243.
That we couldn't claim anything
Yeah,
at the
because
time.
it wasn't officially on the island. You know what was beautiful that came out of that though? Is that I contacted the department and said, look, man, we're working together making this project.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to give me authority to be here.
Yeah. They saw
know?
how hard we were working.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, and the department responded immediately
Yeah.
and allowed me to get the limited right of entry. And that's what created now that this pilot program is in existence and how everybody gonna be going forward. The limited right of entry is a perfect vehicle to see if anybody who like do this program after us, they're gonna have to prove themselves.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to prove that you're not gonna just go over there and turn the land into one dump site. You know
And
what I
it's
mean?
not just that people, like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I want that, give it to me,"
Yeah.
and then when they get there,
And they
it's
don't
like,
do shit.
too hard, you know.
Yeah,
to
too
work.
hard.
So
I don't care.
that's always
Yeah.
that's
No,
also
you're
too,
gonna have
like,
to work for it, bro.
And some people can look at it and say, "I can do that," but then when they actually get into it, no, I can't.
It don't
you
work.
know?
Yeah, it don't work.
Because there was
It
a lot of
ain't
times.
easy.
There was a lot of times where we were so exhausted. We were like, "Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
how are we gonna get this done?"
Yeah.
But we pushed through, and
Yeah. And I think that this thing is starting a movement
yeah,
because the department came. Yeah, as much as the department gets ripped by our Lahui, I gotta tell you, my experience with the department has not been that way.
yeah.
Well, my experience with the department has been one of cooperation, and they work to, okay, you got this, okay, but they make it clear though that it's not free. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
bust your ass, which is why we're not getting any funding from the department.
Right.
But it's in the contract that if we succeed in this thing, Bob, the people who gonna come after us, they're not gonna have to struggle that much
Yeah.
because the department will put up money, 50,000, whatever it is.
We're gonna have the
You know,
package
yeah,
already
we're
ready
gonna have
for
the
them.
package ready for them. They're gonna say, okay, this is how much it'll cost to get you started,
Yeah.
and they'll give you a starter kit. They'll give it to you,
And we learned.
and you never even worked for that. We
Yeah.
did. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
put in the sweat and the tears and all that.
yeah.
You know. So
And we learned like planting stuff because
Yeah, we learned
it's
what plants.
majority coral.
yeah,
We had beautiful plants.
Yeah.
And they were growing, and then all of a sudden they stopped.
yeah,
And they started dying, and we're like, "What the heck?"
yeah,
And when we dig it up to see, it was either ant infestation,
Right.
grubs, or it was just literally it hit coral and had
Yeah.
nowhere to grow.
yeah.
So we fine-tuned all that
Oh, boy.
too. And he built a garden bed, and then we started noticing, okay, you know, like this works better. So now we know we have to build up. Or our friend brought in good dirt. So at least the plants that don't need like huge roots can grow, you know.
Right.
And then if we have to, we can replant into like planter boxes and stuff like that. But
Talk about plants. They know that did they water this morning? Okay.
I told them. I think
Okay.
Jay did. But
You can go drive up and see
Um,
if the thing was watered.
or we can just ask.
Yeah, I mean, asking not gonna get you the truth. Seeing will get you the truth.
I meant ask Jay because
You know,
Jay is the one that watered.
yeah. They say, yeah, we're doing, but they're not doing. And next thing you know, everything will shrivel
Okay,
up and
this
dead.
is like
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Getting back to that,
yeah. So what were we talking about?
we're
So
talking about Dinah.
when we got yeah. So when we got everything stolen,
Right,
that's where I left off. And so that was a big hit for us because we didn't have the money to replace it.
right,
We were already into the project, and we depended on the tools to maintain where we were at the time.
right.
And so, you know, that really hit us hard. And so we had to start all over again. I mean, down to saving up money to buy a pair of pliers,
Yeah,
you know? And we ended up, it was a contract, I think, that we
Yeah.
caught that was able
What a
to give
contract.
us, you know, like now we bought brand new weed whackers.
Yeah.
And it was our own that.
Hey,
you
I
know,
think that's what the thing. Bikini Fund. They
Yeah,
came. They came
it was
in.
after that too.
Yeah.
We had started to buy our
Bikini
stuff
Loan
back.
Fund.
The Bikini Loan Fund came in, and we were able
Yeah.
to build the platform and all
Right.
that.
And buy the weed whackers
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
Before that, we were borrowing Lynette's weed whacker,
Yeah.
and we had to give it back when they needed it, and then borrow it again.
Yeah.
So we really did a lot to get to where we are today. So we're grateful for
We
the
earned
machines. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
earned it.
Yes, we did. It was a lot of like, you know, and I'm so glad that my muscle issues weren't as bad a couple years ago.
And not only you and I, but mom too.
Yeah.
Your mom, man, she chopped down at least 100 hardcore trees all by herself.
Yeah. The thing with my mom is she has a super green thumb,
Right.
but when she got there too, she started giving us all these plants.
Right.
And I kept telling her, Mom, we don't have adequate water. Like, it was hard enough for us to keep up with the watering that we had,
Right.
just to show a little bit of what we can do. And she's like, oh, plant this and plant that. She's bringing like trees and all that. I'm like, okay, we can't keep watering.
Right.
You know, it's hard enough as it is right now on us. And then when the plants die, she's like, oh, you don't know how to take care. I'm like, or we don't have enough water or a place, because by then we realized we can't plant in the coral. So I'm like, we had to buy dirt. And then when we bought the dirt, what did we find? We ended up buying cheap dirt, and we found thousands of grubs.
Yep.
And those killed our
It
plants.
came in with the dirt.
Yeah.
That was the dirt that we bought from Walmart.
Yeah.
That was in the particular brand. Had all these
Yeah.
fucking grubs.
So then we built above the ground,
Right.
right, with that dirt. And then once we went through that dirt, then we ended up finding, was it spider
mites.
spider mites and ant
Yeah.
infestation and all that. We had like, our plants were growing, my eggplants
Mm-hmm.
were growing good, and all of a sudden they started dying.
Yeah.
Then plants were getting root rot and all this
Yep.
kind of stuff. So we were,
So we learned firsthand
yeah,
what works, what doesn't work, what
Okra.
grows. Okra works
okra
beautiful.
grew great.
Uwala grows beautiful. You just
Once you
need,
get it started.
yeah, you need the space for the uwala to actually grow, because the vines will cover all the ground, everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so one of the things you gotta do is you gotta have what they call that, what the powder that we get.
Fertilizer. Oh, diatomaceous earth.
Diatomaceous earth is your best friend.
Yeah.
It's pet friendly,
The food grade one.
food
yeah.
grade, and you know it'll help to defeat all these ants that will create
Yeah.
a whole colony under your shit
Yeah.
and ruin your whole crop.
Yeah.
So it's not easy doing subsistence egg, bro.
So many times. But we got like we would get like the first crop, right? And we would
Right.
harvest like eggplants and okra. We were
Yeah.
getting a lot of it. It's like, wow. You
Yeah.
know,
We
could-
did it.
Yeah,
We
like
did it.
we were taking it home and we were making food.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, this is great. We don't have to go to the store and buy this. We were saving
Yeah.
money. And then we hit, you know, another roadblock and stuff. But
Right now we got a whole bunch of bok choy seeds.
yeah, so I'm and we learned that too, right? Like when the bok choy started dying,
Yeah.
then we learned, oh, we can still harvest the seed. And I actually did that once. I
Yeah.
used the seeds and I
Yeah.
grew it again,
Yeah.
and it grew again, but we figured out why they were getting eaten was those little butterfly thingies.
My favorite butterfly.
Yeah, the yellow and white ones. And so from that, you know, we learned that, okay, the next time we grow bok choy, we have to cover it so that they don't eat the leaves. So I harvested the seeds from this last one, and I have it all in a container. So when I'm ready and I have the material to cover it, then you know, we'll replant it and stuff. I didn't want to do it too
Right.
early. So, but yeah, I forgot to tell Jay to, oh, he did it. Forgot to tell Jay to close the gate. But, yeah, so,
Yeah, I did it, but that pipe is on the go.
That-
I don't know why the pipe is on the go.
I don't know. So, did they leave the equipment here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I see a white truck over there or something. Or something white. Okay. So, yeah, we worked really hard, and
Mhm.
now we have chickens.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So now we have chickens,
Mhm.
and they're laying eggs. And now the kids are confused because I didn't tell them anything. But we have chickens, they're laying eggs, you know, and we're getting, and they're colorful. They're colored eggs.
I see on top. I saw those 2 trucks coming out.
So this is like a long silence.
Huh?
Because
Yeah.
I said this is a long silence because
Yeah, no, it's trying to get.
so
I had to go shift into four-wheel drive.
yeah. So we're just checking the Aina.
Yeah.
I would show everybody the Aina, but I can't reverse the camera while we're recording. But there's been a lot of improvements, and the trucks are gonna come again,
Yes.
the equipment, and they're gonna do, and we're getting our fencing. And so that's gonna help. Oh, this pile is nice now.
Yeah.
Like it was all
Yeah.
moved.
It's almost gonna be cleared out when they get that bigger truck.
Why is it doing that? Oh, you're not in. He's a rookie. Bruh. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of tires too that we pulled out, and there's still more. There's still a lot more tires that we need cleaned, but we're gonna reuse the tires, and he wants to paint them,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna line them all up
'Cause what was-
outside.
Once was one man's trash to illegally dump here. Now it's gonna be used to beautify the place. All right. Now we're shifting a good gear. Okay, we're good.
So yeah, we tried. That's another thing that we did is we tried to reuse the things that we found,
Yeah,
even though they were rubbish.
that's what it means to work with the Aina.
Yeah,
And it's funny that people come and destroy it, but we can beautify it. We can make it better, and we can do it with the idea that I just trying to finish my thought.
oh,
We can do it with the idea that, hey, you the trash that you got, I could use it as a planter. You don't
Yeah.
know. Whatever. There's a lot of stuff we have to get rid of, though.
yeah. There's a lot of just trash, like,
Right.
and like metal that people just decided to throw. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, useless things. You know, old mattresses, broken mattresses. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
So we did have to throw away a lot. But whatever we could reuse, and we're doing like, because we're trying to do off-grid, we're doing solar.
All right.
But yeah, so the purpose of talking about this was me talking about crazy
Yeah.
things and yes.
But we accomplished the task. As crazy as an idea that it
did.
may have been from the beginning, look what happened.
So is this what you envisioned? Because it was your vision, not
Right.
mine. And I know you try to give credit to other people for this, but
Right.
ultimately it was you, you know. And I
Yeah.
want you to recognize that. Because I do credit the people in the department, you know, and
Right.
you always credit one person specifically, but
Right.
you if it wasn't for you and having this vision in the first place, nothing would be happening, right? So
Yeah.
when you first had this vision of this is what I want to do, is it coming together like
It's
how
coming
you
together
think-
like your butt cheeks.
leave my butt cheeks out. But is it
Yeah.
coming to what you thought?
I mean, it's coming out to be better than what I thought it would be.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
because we've had
'Cause-
to change our
Yeah.
ideas a few times.
Yeah. There's you know, me. I was like you in the beginning. I was gonna live on a kind of on a pump tent.
Yeah.
Put up the tent. Boom, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there's powers that be that say, well, you cannot just do that. You gotta actually have
Yeah.
a livable thing and all that. So
Yeah.
now that's coming.
And we have to work with the companies that are blessing us. So
Yeah.
if it's easier for them to clear this space instead of what we thought we
Right.
wanted, then you know
Because
what?
I
We just
originally
roll
wanted
with
to
it.
go on
Right.
the upper plane.
Right.
But that upper plane gonna be perfect to just put that 2,400 gallon tank over there.
Right.
That's gonna be just used for just us. You know what I mean? To make
Yeah.
our house and garden and all that.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have that.
And
Put
I
up
think
that,
it
and with the
would-
pump, we get the pump going. Boom. Wow,
I
we
think
got
it
this
should
shit
be
going on.
close to our house, like right behind it at
Yeah,
some point.
it's gonna be
because,
right.
Yeah.
Right behind.
Because I still feel like, you know, one
Right,
of the
right.
things that, for me anyway, because I'm not Hawaiian, right? One of the things that I always make sure that I respect is the
Do we have to go
kupuna.
to the next slide?
Yes, actually, we have to go to Waianae store
Okay.
because we forgot gravy.
Okay.
But one of the things that I really want to do is always respect the culture. And I don't know the culture completely, you know?
Right.
And so things about spiritual issues and stuff like that, I'm not familiar with. So when we had our friends come,
Mhm.
and the first set, right, when Lynette and Lena came,
Right.
they went up to the pu'u where
Right.
you wanted to build and stuff, and they said right away, this is a spiritual place, and talking about all the rocks and
Above
stuff, right?
where I was. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so then we had Nani and Dana come,
Mhm.
and they said where you wanted to build in the middle over there was like a really spiritual place, and it said the path goes directly from that pu'u to, was it Mount, I don't know, something, what is Nipple Mountain called or something.
Oh yeah.
It said that was like a spiritual place for, I think it was like birthing for women or something. So that path, she said, you know, you don't want to block that path, right? Because it's still
Right.
spiritual. That's the kind of stuff that I really don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
so,
That's why it's good where we at.
yeah. And the fact, and then there was, you notice that there was always something that was stopping us from building there. Because then when Brian came, he said,
I cannot go there,
it's
bro.
too rocky, you know.
Yeah.
He said the only thing I would be able to do is cover it and stuff, but you know, like cover the rocks, you know. He
Mhm.
even said that, and I was like, see, there's always something guiding us,
Right.
you know, where we should go.
Right.
And then I don't know, that one day I just was like, I don't know, it was like the land was talking to me, and we're talking about our house, and that's when I seen that spot that I picked.
Right.
I was like,
Where the
right
mound
there.
is now.
Yeah, it was like right there. That's what I feel. And then when we went over there and I showed you and you turned around and you saw the view from where that spot is,
Mm-hmm.
then you felt it too,
Yes.
right? And
It's beautiful.
yeah,
But that's what I was looking for, that view
yeah,
of the whole land.
yeah. And that's good that we can see both gates
Right.
from there, you know. So once we get our cameras set up and all that, you know, it'll be good. So things do come together, and they
Like
come
what
to
you-
not like that. They do come together, and they come together the way the land is meant to be. That's how I feel.
Right.
You know, and the thing is, we didn't even know what it looked like prior, right? Because the Google Maps only show like
Yeah.
the top, and we did see like a couple of paths, but it doesn't show you everything. All you see is the treetops, right?
Right.
So that was interesting too, because we're really working with what our heart is saying, not
Exactly.
what the land is. I mean, what was shown before. So we're not copying anybody.
Right.
We're
It's
making our
unique to
own-
what we got going on.
Yeah.
And now where we at now?
I know, and then how it is now, I didn't even imagine that before,
Right.
because we had that pile where you just went turn around,
Right.
and I thought to myself, that pile. Remember, I like
Right.
made most of that pile
Yeah.
with the rock, and I thought to myself, I know what I had to do to get the rocks there. That shit is heavy,
Right.
right? So I thought, there's no way we're gonna move that. We're gonna work around it. But now that whole thing is like,
Gone.
yeah. So
Move.
where is the rocks?
Yeah,
It's just covered?
Yeah, no, we're using it to line other place, so it's a road that you can actually drive on.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it's not
it's
right
being used.
there.
Hey,
Yeah.
it was dump stuff, so that thing we can crush
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and make new base course.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So we're gonna have somebody come, take it, and go make base course out of it.
yeah, yeah. And then they can sift
Yeah.
it, right? Because there was a lot of
They sift it
rebar
right
and
there,
stuff like
yeah.
that in it.
You know, and they can take the rebar and they can go take them to Signature Steel, turn them in for money, whatever they like do.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, they're blessing us, so let them have them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And it'll be all good.
that's pretty cool. So not only are we using what the INA gives us, what we can't use
Right,
can still be used somewhere else.
Right.
And then the what we have to actually throw away, if you think about
Yeah.
it, becomes minimal
Yeah.
compared to what the INA is giving us.
Yeah.
Although we did throw
because you
away
gotta
a
pay
lot.
for every load that you
Yeah.
take to the, whether it's PVT or Wamanalo or at the refuse place.
Yeah,
You gotta know what you can and cannot take over
yeah.
there. And now look,
Okay,
we're here.
so it's
It's-
1:02, and I still have to make cookies
Let's go.
and have.
Hey,
a
we gotta get
steak.
do you have the cookie supplies?
I have enough to make.
We never buy,
I believe I'll make. I can get.
we have flour, sugar.
We're
Baby just didn't have coffee.
gonna buy.
The minute baby come
We're
and she's
gonna
gonna
buy
have coffee.
flour and sugar and shortening and all that just in case, because I know Daddy. I have vanilla at home. We have eggs.
Mhm.
I do want to get baking soda.
Okay, so can you put it
So we're
on your
going
phone?
shopping again.
Can you put it on your phone?
No, I'm not putting it in my phone because my phone's over there.
Alright. Love, peace, and
Alright.
happiness, yo. We out of here.